Those are plywood making plants right there. Hey, Dave. Hell no, you couldn't give me this thing, man. It's a new Blazer. 50 grand for this thing. Friends of mine, their other car broke down. I'm going to pick them up in the UP. You know, when these Blazers first came out, I thought, man, that's kind of a nice looking car. And if you're familiar with them, they've got those little slits in the front. They look like Siamese cats for the headlights. And I thought, how in the hell has technology got enough light to shine out? Well, let me tell you, they haven't. These lights are terrible on this thing. Even when you have the brights on. You know they're bad when you got the brights on and no one flashes their lights. Shit, in the 1970s, you could turn the brights on a 74 Ford LTD and it looked like a football field. They were getting ready to play a game. These lights on this thing are terrible. This thing was 51 grand. You would have to be nuts to buy this. Yeah, and I'm going to pick up another car they have with like 80,000 miles on it. I just turned 441 on the Astrovan. They're always kidding me. I need another vehicle. It's not safe. Yeah, look who's going to pick up who. Now, not in the Astrovan, but I could have. No, yeah, I know. I mean, they're all right, but actually, it's kind of a rough ride. It's got a million goddamn gauges on it. It took me 15 minutes to figure out how to adjust the heat. It's got every bell and whistle on it you could imagine. Finally got the seat adjusted. Finally turned the radio off. Believe it or not, putting it in all-wheel drive was half-ass easy. You just had to turn a knob. Took me 15 minutes to find out where to plug in my charger. Believe it or not, it's on the inside of the console. I would have never even looked there. And they got like a little divot to where the wire goes through when it's shut. Never used cruise control. I never have used cruise control. Never used it. Oh, that's exactly right. No, that's where everything's going now. I mean, look at all these damn lights on this goddamn thing. Looks like an airline cockpit. On the roof, too. I was surprised it took regular gas. I haven't talked to them lately, and to be honest with you, I don't watch your channel. I got enough stuff in my own channel to deal with. I've been getting my accounts hacked. I got my damn Verizon account hacked, and my PayPal account was hacked tonight. So, but I don't watch it anyway. Not that I wouldn't like to, it's just by the time I put my videos and charge the batteries and do 10 minutes of housework, I just don't watch even channels that I'm really into, like aviation channels, MMA, stuff like that. I'm just not up on it like I would. I did see where she had been on earlier, but I didn't watch the video, so I'm assuming good. You do know they have their own channel, don't you? Maddie and Gerald Owens, Owens. Oh, thank you, Crazy Chick. Appreciate it. Yeah, they've got their own thing going on here, on there. They have a lot of critics, Look, you don't know what's going to happen when you... I don't even like to say I helped anybody with a channel. What I did do is if I knew them and they were trying to start a channel, I would be glad to tell people about it. And you just don't know what the outcome is going to be. The people that have done well, like Tassie, nobody wants to talk about them because it's not negative. They can't all shed tears over her lack of success for getting clean. And there's just no drama in getting healthy. Everybody talks like that's what they wanted to do, but I'm not convinced that's accurate. I bet going over the Mackinac Bridge tonight will be beautiful. I was reading some articles about that when I was up there the other day, and not the other day, the other month actually. And I never really realized that there were that many people that had a fear of driving over a bridge. I will tell you this though, that guardrail is not high enough. Why you would put a 36-inch guardrail on that kind of span when you could put a 48-inch is a mystery to me. And it isn't like it's a walkway where people are walking and, you know, that would have been an extra consideration and it would have wrecked the view, or, you know, who knows why people do what they do. Now that was built in the 50s, but they've had 2 cars go all the way over, which isn't bad considering how. I'm not even going to say it's actually dangerous, but if I can understand some of the fear with the people that see that, because it doesn't look like it stopped you at all. One almost went over about a month ago. I just don't know why they wouldn't have made it another foot taller. Hey Salty Girl, hey Bellclock, how you doing? I didn't do any more lives this week because, you know, I kind of had to do this babysitting deal, and it would just be too distracting with what I got going on there to, you know, talk to somebody. I'll get back on them next week. I love late night driving. See, now this road's dry right here. It's just got dry. So that's a big difference from where I was with regard to road traction. This thing is all-wheel drive. I mean, it's a super cool looking car, but it wouldn't be for me. If you gave it to me, I'd sell it. And like I asked people before, if you see any good Astro vans out there, all-wheel drive only, count me in. I've been looking at them for the last few months. I would like to find another one. I did find a guy today though that works at AutoZone that does all sorts of stuff on the side, including swapping engines. And what I'd love to find is a good body from like a state that didn't use salt with maybe a blown engine. I'll tell you another thing that was surprising. Talking to him tonight, I never realized this, but AutoZone, you know that most of their parts lifetime guarantees, even if you can believe it or not, ball joints of all things. Hey Seb Life, how you doing? I'm going to pick up some friends of mine whose car broke down. You know, when you're on roads like this, I haven't seen anybody skid it off to the side or anything, but I know they're slippery and they're even worse where I'm going. But a good kind of indicator, I think, is when you see commercial vehicles like this semi truck ahead of me. Now nobody wants to get someplace quicker than this guy, and he's doing 60, the same thing I'm doing. And because of this, what should have been a 2-hour and 10-minute ride is a 3-hour and 20-minute ride. You know, it's typical time in business one way, so I don't expect to get back to bed till 5 or 6 this morning. Yeah, thank you. Good, glad you're doing fine. Everybody says be careful. I know they have my best interests in mind. But I mean, what do? You just, you know, it's like shooting a free throw, right? I was doing the same thing when I missed one that I was when I made it. What happens, happens. It's not like I'm shifting in and out of 2- and 4-wheel drive and punching it to see which does better. Are you back to work yet? No, you know what I mean? It almost is kind of dependent on other factors that you don't have control over. Other drivers, you come over a hill and there's already a wreck, that kind of thing. I mean, you just do it, be as like careful as you can. Like I can tell you right now, I've had this happen before. If a deer comes out on a night like tonight with these slippery roads, I'll tell you the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to duck as I hit the brake. I am not going to swerve. Not happening. Not in a situation just like this. It's not happening. Duck and hit the brake. And hopefully he might skim the top of my head and my shoulder. This is a perfect car to get killed by a deer coming through the windshield. There in the Astro van. Gets him on my way to the UP again. I'm sure before I left last night. I mean, of all the nights to do this, this is probably one of the worst ones. Oh, okay. Do you have your strength back yet? Do you feel like back to normal totally or not? I do have some good interviews that be coming up. Gabapentin, that's a super safe drug. They use it for a lot of things. One of the main uses is, it's also called Neurontin, is for diabetic neuropathy. It's really kind of a wonder drug, and it's almost impossible to take too many of them. What are you, just having kind of some pain? Oh, good for you. Well, that's a good. You're improving then, so that's the name of the game. You think of what the outcome could have been, and you're very fortunate. I'm glad for you. I went to a dermatologist today. I'm a light-skinned guy. I got absolutely broiled as a kid. I'm surprised I don't look worse than I do. And I don't know about this dermatologist I saw today. There was 2 spots that he missed. And then when I called him on it, in a nice way, shitty about it, I said, there's 2 spots here I want you to look at. And he's a smart guy. She said, I appreciate you bringing those to my attention. And he said, I'd have to look at every square inch of your body otherwise. And I thought, yeah, that's why I'm here. You're a dermatologist and you're looking for skin cancer. And sure as shit, there's like 6 places that they think I have, basal cell, actinic keratosis, that kind of thing. I mean, I don't have melanoma, which is the one you really want to worry about. And other skin cancers don't morph into melanoma. That's a myth. So I'm not too worried about it, but I'm sure I'm going to get the Mohs procedure for a couple deep ones, MOHS. But like I tell them, man, people are so vain. I'm not. I tell you, you can heat up a butter knife if you want. It's not like it's going to ruin my modeling career. I don't care. You know how it is, salty girl. I hope you get checkups for your skin. You'd be surprised where people get skin cancer. I've spotted skin cancer on 3 people that had to get surgery, and 2 that didn't. One of them wanted to argue with me. It's like, I'm not a doctor. Yeah, I know I'm not, but I know what skin cancer looks like because I've had it. And if you don't believe me, just go home and Google it, and then blow up a picture on your phone of that red spot on your nose. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just telling you, it can still eat away tissue, and you can get what's called a tram flap, where they go in and basically just reroute and dismember a big part of your nasal passages. So even though it's not melanoma, it can cause you a shit ton of plastic surgery untreated. Yeah, it's a super safe drug. It's an old drug, been around forever. You can get it in generic form. That's one of the drugs you can get at Walmart for $4 for a whole bottle. I don't know if you've got an insurance copay or what your insurance deal is down there, but a lot of times it's cheaper to, what's going on up here? A lot of times it's cheaper to just skip your insurance and pay the $4. Tell them you don't have it. No kidding. And if you get Medicaid, you're what's called dual, oh, it's a salt truck. You get what's called dual eligibility, dual certification. No deductible for even the top-notch, best medications out there. Particularly protease inhibitors that are used for HIV. I don't know what it is now, but I know 10 years ago it was about $7,000 a month for these people that are HIV positive. These idiots that pass on these. Look at this dumbass. Now he'll be on the side of the road, likely. There's a chance of it. Mr. Big Bad Tahoe. I'm heading about 75 miles west in the UK across the Mackinac Bridge. I'm going to a town called Gulliver. I know I must have been through there before. I was going to check my GPS right before I crossed the bridge. I'm sure it's along 2 someplace, but not 100%. It could be cut up through Newberry. I just don't know. Yeah, I mean, I give Walmart credit for that. They don't have to do it. And there's some medicines that are crazy. They thought I had an autoimmune disease for a while. Let me tell you a funny thing that can happen. You know, you're always getting this sold, you're always getting this pitched integrity, honesty, your health's number one. You know, your portal is safe, we love you, you're like family. You know what these clinical medical places do. So they think that I have an autoimmune disease, maybe. They weren't sure, but it was worth giving me a shot at Humira. It's a biologic. It's for rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, things like that. And the first day I shot that, I got shingles from hell the next morning. It felt like you dumped a gallon of gas on me and lit me up, which is common with that drug. So anyway, I went on it through the regime, and that was about $7,000 a month. And it just so happened at the time, you know, I was depressed, I wasn't feeling good, now I'm dealing with this bullshit. You know, I get over these shingles, and you get to points where you just kind of give up in a lot of ways. You know, going to the store and getting a tube of toothpaste is like a big deal when you're down in the shitter. So anyway, I was getting this Humira through one of these mail order outfits, you know, because they got it cheaper. It was part of the insurance I had. And I ended up getting like a 5-month supply. And there were probably 2 months, I wasn't even taking it anymore. But I remember thinking to myself, all these people that need this drug that can't get it, I'll just give it to them. And you know, if they think you need this, there's quite a time between when you fill out all this bullshit and when you actually get it. So anyway, I had about a 3-month supply, 4-month supply. It was a lot of Humira. Keep it refrigerated. And I was going to the University of Michigan, and I told them, it's like, hey, yeah, you know, I've been kind of lackadaisical. I got a bunch of this Humira I'm not going to use. And I know there's people that come in there. I've always kept it refrigerated. It's all sealed. And I wonder if, like, I could donate it to you guys, and you could just give it out to people until they got, you know, their paperwork straight. It's like, oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, no problem. So I put it in a cooler and I don't know if I made a special trip or not. I could have. I like going down to Ann Arbor. And gave it to him. And I know a girl that got in a beef there with management. And she, I don't know what happened. I forget. It seemed to me it had something to do with their promotion. But, you know, she contacted me a month later. We were kind of chatty, you know, how you doing, that kind of thing. And told me that they had taken that medication that I had given them and sold it through the pharmacy. They didn't give it to anybody. Isn't that crazy? Their pharmacy. You know, they have those hospital pharmacies. That's not the first time I caught them doing some weird stuff like that. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, just, yeah, I mean, I've caught them bullshitting me more than once. I caught Verizon bullshitting me. Verizon. About, how my account got hacked. Just lying. They were trying to blame it on infiltrating my email server, which is nonsense. They infiltrated their database stuff. That's what happened. They got it from the Verizon end, not my end. Hey, that girl, how you doing? Yeah, really greedy. Yeah. I got a beef going on with this goddamn dental clinic I go to. It's a dental clinic that serves poor people too, but they also take insurance. And at the time, that was the only place close where that took my insurance. So I didn't give a shit. And to tell you the truth, up until about a year ago, I really loved the place and I loved my dentist. There was some beef with her too. She's working for she couldn't get a job up here. I don't know whether they laid her off. They're blaming it on COVID. Something happened. I don't know the details. But she went to Aspen Dental. Look up their reputation sometime. And she's a straight shooter, no bullshitting around. She told me she loved working at this place because she didn't have to sell stuff people didn't need. Well, I bet she's not saying that now. But anyway, the whole time I was going there, like 6 years or so, they had my dental stuff on file and my insurance and all this. And as you're going out, it's like, oh, Mr. Reed, you owe $20 copay. It's like, yeah, no problem. And I noticed the last time they didn't say anything, but I kind of wrote it off to COVID. And they were losing employees and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, I start getting these bills late, 90 days, 180. It's like, what the hell is this? And there were a couple times over that 6-year period that they'd say, hey, your insurance isn't right. And I said, okay, cancel the appointment. I'll get it straight. And I'll come back. And I did it. And they've told me, and I've told them. It's worked perfect. So I said, what's going on with this? It's like, well, you don't have any insurance. It's like, what do you mean I don't have any insurance? Look in your record. She said, well, we changed systems. It's like, so what? What'd you do? Just throw everything in the trash? She said, basically. I said, you didn't take the data that you had and transfer it? She said, no. I said, and on top of that, you didn't even have enough sense to ask a patient, could you give us our insurance cards? Because what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to verify that I have insurance, and you didn't do that. Not once, but twice. She says, yeah. And I was thinking when we were having this discussion that you sign that thing, you're responsible for all charges. Well, that's true, but that's not the intent of why you sign it. That document is prepared for like a lack of reimbursement. They thought you had coverage and you didn't. You were lying. It isn't for not doing any due diligence, quitting what you'd done the whole time I went there and not doing it anymore. And I think they were just kind of hanging their hat on, well, it's your problem. After all, you signed this thing and no, you didn't have insurance. And yes, we could have checked, but you accepted treatment and here's the bill. Not happening. I mean, I'm a reasonable guy. I did have insurance, which I provided to these morons, but I'm still getting these outstanding bills. Now, I think there's a chance, I don't know this for sure, that they waited too long to bill. I don't think you have over a year or a year. I don't know. This could all not be true. I don't know. But there's been enough time that's went by that during those periods, when I had valid insurance and they were too lazy to validate it, verify it, that they may have waited too late to bill. And I'm not paying those bills. Now, it hasn't gotten that shitty yet, but if they push it, I've got all their phone calls recorded where they told me that they should have done it and they didn't, and they told me that they told me before when it wasn't valid. I got them by the balls. They don't know that. Look, is this worth disputing $400? It's not $400. It could be $4 million. It's the principle of the thing. It's just their crappy attitude. And actually, I'm going to call them Monday and I'm going to say, you know what? I don't want to get one more bill from you on this other than a copay. I don't want one more notice. And if you send me any threat about turning this over to my credit, which is perfect, by the way, and part of the reason for that is because I'm not dealing with people like you. So you turn that into a collection agency, and it's going to be World War II. I will keep you in fucking court for the next 10 years. You're going to need an attorney, but I'm not. Once I flip that switch with some bullshit like that and they give me some attitude, this just isn't going away. This pisses me off even thinking about it. This one damn ignorant idiot that's working there, I heard her telling another clerk, and I don't know if she was talking about me. She said, what do patients think with regard to their insurance? We're mind readers? No. You're billing clerks that are supposed to ask for the cards and verify it. You couldn't show me one medical facility anywhere where your coverage isn't verified before they give you treatment. Nuts. No, this isn't. I'm driving a Blazer. I haven't driven that Toyota once. I don't even have a license plate on it. This isn't my car, it's my friend's. See, now its roads are crappy again. It is dark as hell up here. I'll sleep when I get home, I'll tell you that. Hope these deer are sleeping tonight. Yeah, it's a Blazer. Yeah, Blazer. Yeah. I mean, if you're into this kind of stuff, I remember there was a time when I liked new cars, but it's long past. I really enjoyed driving my Astro van. It's a tank. You know, keep a bunch of stuff. And this thing's small. I couldn't even put my Doka pole in this thing. I need to strap it to the roof. There's not 8 feet inside from the dash. Even if you put it on the dash and put it diagonally, these things are little. And I'm telling you, if you sit in the back seat for an hour, I've done that before in this vehicle, you need a damn chiropractic adjustment when you get on the other end. It's not comfortable. Like the old Lincolns, LTDs, Crown Vics. Shit, man, you felt like you were getting rocked to sleep as a baby in one of those. This thing feels like you're about ready to go out, get jacked off into space in a space shuttle. Stiff. Feel every bump. I guess there's a way to change the suspension on this. If anybody knows where that button is, let me know, will you? All these vehicles too with these low profile tires, good handling. It's a rough ride. There's no way around it. You only got about 3 inches of rubber between the rim and the pavement, and it's cold on top of it. It's not like the old days where you got like 6 inches from the rim to the tire. Look at all these trucks pulled over. They're not stupid. Yeah, all those trucks are just parked. Evidently, there's some kind of trucker thing going on over COVID. I'm not sure what it's entailing. I'll tell you another thing I don't like about this car. There's way too much reflection. Just tons of reflection off these windows. Look at, there's probably all these damn lights. Only light that's approved is my GoPro light. I'm doing a night time lapse the whole way. That's one knock against GoPro. It's not that light sensitive, except on a time lapse. And I think these things get good gas mileage too. I'm going to find out. It was half tank empty, and I filled up with gas because I didn't want to screw with that on the way up here. You can come up places like this and run out of gas. No problem. Everything closes at 10. If you don't have 400 or 500 miles of gas in your tank, you're screwed. Hey, I see you. No, I haven't crossed the bridge. I'm about 50 miles from the bridge. I'm going to be crossing it though. That bridge is beautiful. To me, that's the different. That's such a impressive architectural feat. To think that just started out as a thought, and it's crossing that wicked body of water. See, I got the brights on. You can't see as good as this phone makes it look. I wish I could. I got a new pair of glasses coming too. I wish the hell I had those on right now, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I mean, I could be set up better for this. I'm tired too. I didn't get shit for sleep. This is going to be a long night. I don't really mind doing it though. I just wish it was dry roads. I'd be doing 80 miles right now. Instead, I'm plodding along at 55 and 60. Taking me forever to get there. I figured it out. If I average 60, it's 3 hours and 17 minutes. And if I was doing 80, I'd be there in no time. That's why all those truckers are pulled over. You're better off pulling over and going to sleep and getting up and hauling ass when the roads are dry. Doesn't make any sense to plow it along at 55. Looks like there might be something going on up here. Maybe not. Getting tired, starting to see weird shit. Visible rabbits going across the road. Twitches. weird lights. I'm thinking, what in the hell are those lights? I'll tell you what they are. They're the lights of the highway across from me, going the other way. But it's so curvy up here, it curves in and out. It's hard to tell that sometimes. You're thinking, is that an exit? What the hell is that? Then you get closer and you think, oh, I am going blind. Just cruising along. I'll tell you one thing, man. Flying experience, I think it helped with like driving. This is nothing to me. This just doesn't even budge the needle as far as like being nervous or anything. If the shit hits the fan, just pull over to the side of the road. You notice there's not too much traffic. If I would have been my friends, I would have tried to get a ride to a hotel and just got a hotel and done this in the morning. I'm starting to see invisible. I'm 58 miles away from the bridge. I'm starting to see invisible elephants. Like, well, if they're invisible, how do you see them? You know what I mean? Like, not totally invisible, not quite opaque, but like jellyfish type things. What's that, J-Bo? Oh, Anthony. Yeah, I do a lot with Anthony. He's a good guy, really. I take him and do things. People that age are cruel to kids his age. Even honest to God, and I'm not taking any credit for this, but even when I was a kid, I was like that. I would like to try and include people in my class in things. And when I was going to a junior college, I read for the blind for a couple of years. I'm lucky I think this way. I don't know why I do. It took a long time to get to know Anthony. I'd say I probably knew him for a year and a half. He wouldn't even say a word to me. He usually has an older lady stay there, like 70. And Anthony is a super liberal and just hates Trump. And if he hears somebody that mentions Trump or Reagan or something, he just cuts them right the hell off. Doesn't talk to them. There's all sorts of places they don't go because he won't go and they don't want to leave it on me. I was surprised. I'm glad he didn't go, but he's afraid of the dark. So, I got through to him what's going on here. And I said, you want to go? And he said, go where? And I said, well, your parents are up there. And he said, well, what would you do? I said, well, I'm going anyway. But I'm going because I have to. They need a ride home. But if I were you, I don't think I would go. And he always asked why. And I said, well, the roads are bad. It's going to take forever. You're not going to be able to sleep that easy in that back seat. And here you are in a warm house with a computer to mess around with. Lock the doors. You can call me if you need to. It just doesn't make sense that you would put that risk on yourself. It's bad enough the three of us are out there. And he said, okay, then I'll stay, which I was kind of surprised at. I'm also surprised I haven't heard from him by now. He hears a noise outside or something like that. And God forbid if the internet quits working. Yeah, he's a very sensitive uh, guy, and there's parts of his brain that it's a mystery. This the way the things this guy remembers and the data he crunches. You can talk to him about sports all day long. I mean, he's good enough. I think he could help. He knows everything. You wouldn't even need to get on the computer. Who's on the injured list? I mean, it's crazy. And he's, for some reason, got this interest in cheap airline fares. If you're ever looking for, I had to get on today about brushing his teeth. Offering up there. Well, you guys, I think I'm going to end up, I think I'm going to sign off because under these conditions anymore, I'm just like tired, you know. So I hope you guys have a good night tonight. If you hear of a red blazer going off the Mackinac Bridge, think of me. It's because I forgot my blood pressure pill, drank a Monster drink, and had a panic attack halfway across. All three. I hit the trifecta of a bad evening. Now the flip side of that is that I got my 7 gallons of gas. I bought all the lottery tickets and got all the extras, $18. So if there's such things as a silver lining, I don't think things work that way, but all you Christians out there, I want you to pray for me. All the Jews, you can count on a big donation for me if you can send this my way some kind of way. The agnostics, the atheists, whatever you can come up with. I mean, look how dark it is. I've got the brights on. I mean, it seems like I'm going to drive off the edge of the world. Not shitting you. You don't get a lot of clues up here. Can't see the lines in the road. There's no buildings and houses on the side. It's dark driving at its finest. Yeah. So take it easy, you guys. I haven't been looking at the screen for about 5 minutes, so they got some stalker on there. Delete those comments. So nighty night. Party on. J-Bo, all you guys. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. And if they insist on driving, which I'm not big on other people driving, not that I'm the world's greatest driver, you'll be hearing from me late tonight because I'll be in the back seat being a nervous wreck. But at least not be driving. So good night, everybody. Can't even shut the goddamn phone off.